Hey guys, I'm sorry I didn't get a video made last week. I know that we were doing a rota on like healing therapies and such, alternative therapies. I don't know what the topic rota is for this week, so I've been kind of distracted. But what I will say is that it is Eating Disorder Awareness Week, so I figured I would try and find something to babble on about. Hang on, my phone's going crazy. To babble on about that was connected to Eating Disorder Awareness Week, probably things that you've heard many times before or have heard from me certainly, whether it's been blog posts, poetry, writing, whatever. So I want to maybe think about a blog post that I made back in 2011 actually, and I kind of updated it a little bit, and I've posted it again as a link back to it. I didn't want to copy it and have it as a different post, if that makes sense. So there has been a post on my blog to do with it being Eating Disorder Awareness Week, and linking it back to that post because it seemed to really resonate with a lot of people. And in it, I really talk about full recovery being possible, and I can't tell you how angry and frustrating I find it when professionals are telling people that they can't recover, that real recovery isn't realistic, that no one really experiences complete recovery. I'll be honest with you that I don't spend every day sorry, my hair needs washing. It's just, I don't spend every single day of every week of every month feeling brilliant about myself. But what I will say is that most days, most times, I'm so distracted with other things that I rarely notice my body, and that doesn't mean that I'm detached from it. It means that it is what it is. And of recent, I felt more insecure about my body. I don't particularly think that that's because of any weight gain or weight changes. I think I just go through periods where I'm a lot more conscious of myself as a whole. It doesn't mean that I'm thinking in an eating disordered way. What it means is I just might go through stages where I just feel a bit uncomfortable about myself, and I just need some reassurance, and I just need to sort of say to people, I do say it, here we go, confession, I do I look fat. And it's like the worst thing I can say, isn't it? But I do have those insecurities, and I do sometimes feel that way. But when I think about it and I think about what the response would be either way, I think, but Rachel, who the hell cares? There is so much else going on that if I'm feeling like I'm carrying some extra or whatever, I'm not going to change my diet. I'm not going to eat less. I'm not going to eat more. I'm not going to use behaviours. I'm not going to get so distressed that I self-harm. I'm not going to cry every time I put clothes on. I'm not going to go and try all of my clothes on to see if they still fit me the same. I'm not going to weigh myself all the time or weigh myself every day. I very rarely weigh myself, and my weight pretty much stays the same anyway. I'm not going to do any of those things. So very, very quickly, whenever those thoughts and feelings are there and those insecurities that are there, I try to just normalise them and think, well, that's okay, because we all feel insecure at times. If I was to walk about feeling like I was the best looking, most perfect person in the world, there'd have to be something wrong with me to believe that is the case. And I just say, yeah, Rach is all right. When I wear my clothes, I feel comfortable in them. I like what I wear. Other people like what I wear. I'm not judging what I'm wearing based on how fat or thin I look. I just wear whatever I want. I am a lot less conscious in pictures of judging how I look and things. And a lot of that comes from different places now, because I think that as much as we're inundated with these perfect images, we're also seeing a lot of models who are allowing themselves to be seen, not just say for campaigns or what have you and all done up, but just day-to-day life where they quite possibly aren't wearing makeup. Cara is one example of that, and she's actually somebody who has helped me incredibly much, is that English? Because she just posts pictures of herself just like here, there and everywhere, and not all of them are most complimentary to her, but then you have her campaigns for Mulberry where she looks absolutely beautiful. And so it makes me think, well, hang on, who cares if like you've got a picture of yourself first thing in the morning when you are just looking like God knows what? It doesn't matter. it's still you. It doesn't, people are still going to see you as you, even if you don't look as beautiful as you could do, they still see you as you. So that's something that's really continued to progress for me. And I think it comes at quite a far on stage of being recovered, to be honest. But what I would say to you is to try and think about some of those things, and even look at pictures. I'm not saying compare, but look at pictures of your friends and think, well, hang on, when I see her in the morning, or when I see him in the morning, or when he's more done up or she's more done up, you know, I essentially see the same person. I might see features, eyes might stand out more, lips might become more noticeable, you might notice someone's figure in different outfits, but essentially you're seeing the same person. And what you've got to understand is what you're seeing when you flick through, I've got American Vogue sat next to me, they're not real, they are so photoshopped. Actually, it's really bad because I've got Hobbs Bazaar over there, and I tell you what, some of the photoshopping in that is so bad. It's actually so obvious it's been photoshopped. I'm amazed they've been able to get away with printing it, because you can get stuff photoshopped, but that to me is, I'm not even going to show you some of the images. I'm like, how obvious is it that they've just completely changed the shape of her face? And it's, yeah, that's just crazy. Let me just, I know my teacup here. So I wanted to talk about that to help you connect to the fact that even though I'm recovered, that I still carry some insecurities with me, and also take the myth away, the belief that all these so-called professionals have that no one can fully recover. And I'll tell you something, that even if in some part of my mind I might have the odd person who I think that of, what I go straight back to is that if we are capable of destroying ourselves the way that we do, the human capacity, then we can get ourselves well. And I know that there's going to be a number of people who go through life who have had circumstances that have happened to them. My dear friend Isla, despite how hard she tried, she could not move on from what happened to her as a child. And I hope she doesn't mind me talking about her, but she'd done her recovery with her eating disorder, with her self-harm, and occasionally she fell into those behaviours again, but she'd come such a long way from the first time that I met her, and she never stopped trying, okay? And in terms of recovery, she was recovered in many senses from a lot of her behaviours that she'd had, and what haunted her were those kind of flashbacks and things, which when I was first told you can control flashbacks, hallucinations, I thought it was such crap. And then I kind of realised that I can take more dominance of my head, but you have to be in a certain place to be able to do that. When I was first experiencing it, I wasn't able to, and it was as time progressed and I had support that I started to understand triggers, and this was what she was doing, but nothing was really shifting it essentially. And in that regard, she lost hope, and I guess that's what led her to do what she did. And being told that things are never going to change is only going to keep you in a form of negative thinking. So I was told numerous times I wouldn't recover. And what I do know now is that I do have certain triggers. I never had an alcohol problem per se, but I do drink, and I sometimes drink too much, and I sometimes drink day after day after day, and then I pick myself up on it and I think, you know, come on Rach, you know, you've experienced what alcoholism is, let's not go down that road. And it's not because I'm using that instead of food. In many ways, if I'm honest with you, I don't think I would know how to go back to behaviours, because this is going to sound really stupid, like I don't know how I would restrict. I don't know how to do that anymore. I can't remember what it is to feel this need to weigh myself all the time, or look at myself in the mirror all the time, or pinch myself all the time, or have a desire to lose weight all the time. I don't know how I would ever get that back, because it hasn't come back. And it did in 2007 from starting recovery in kind of 2004, but it hasn't ever since. And like I've said to you, I'm not perfect, I have my insecurities, but it isn't there. And the only thing that might be there is that, like, when I'm really depressed, I don't eat, but that has nothing to do with my eating disorder. It is simply my depression. Yeah, I'm aware that if that pattern continues, it could result in me, if I'm say losing weight and my mental health is deteriorating, that could in itself cause a problem, which is how I believe my eating disorder initially started, is that I became very depressed and very low after trauma and stopped eating, dropped a lot of weight, and my mind just sort of went with it really, and all those thoughts and feelings to do with weight and body image all kind of fell into place very quickly. So if you guys out there are watching and you're still struggling, or you're, let's say you're really ill right now, or you're kind of doing better, you might be at the edge of recovery and sort of I've got a friend who I'm like going, come on, just that next bit. If that's kind of where you're at, or if you're where I am, you know, we all need reassurance at times. And like I've said to you, that if thoughts and things come back to you that are to do with ways of coping, to an extent, that's so, you know, that's normal, that's okay, and to become more self-conscious. So just, I think it's just an awareness of those things, and being able to have a bit of a joke about it as well, and those insecurities. Yeah, so don't lose hope. Take it from someone who has recovered, like fully, who never believed she would be able to have a normal relationship with herself or her body ever again and stop behaviours. I have. What I want to do for the next couple of minutes is talk to you, because on Saturday, we're Thursday, on Saturday I had my launch party for my birthday, for my book, okay, so that was the 22nd. It actually was released on the anyway, it was released a number of days before that, so kind of, I don't know what date it was, which I wasn't aware of. So I was kind of like mega hyper, and I didn't make a video, did I, last week? So I was kind of like, whoa, and crying and just in shock and all of that. And the feedback I've had from it, from my writing, although some of those people have been friends, has been so positive. And what I would like to say to you is, I don't want to beg you to buy it, but it might help you to buy it, is what I will say, because it isn't just about eating disorders, it isn't just about mental health, but it's about daily life really, and kind of what I experienced in chronological order actually from between sort of June and October last year. And it highlights the journey that I have most days and weeks, which is very, very up and down. And the things, you know, to do with love, falling in love, falling out of love, societal pressures, thinking about things that go on for different people, just a number of the things that we might appreciate, the things that we want to learn to appreciate, friendship, the power of connections. So I would ask very kindly of you that if you feel you could and would like to, that I'd like to think that it's something worth buying. And I'm not just trying to sell myself there. I think that poetry and writing is really a way forward in terms of helping us be who we are. And I think there's a lot to be said for the fact that I've encouraged numerous people with issues, with problems and such, to go towards sites like Hello Poetry and share their work. As scary as it is, they can be anonymous on it, you know, you don't have to be known, you don't have to let people know. So yeah, it's available on Amazon, okay, all Amazon stores, like across the world, whatever. And it's Sia Jane Lloyd, Wanderlust, and I really look forward to bringing out my next one as well. So thanks guys, and thank you for listening, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye bye.